So today I went to one of the most iconic comic book shops in all of New York City, Forbidden Planet, and picked up a comic book haul. I got 4 new books I'm excited to dive into, so I want to talk about them briefly in this video, go through what I picked up, and talk about what I'm excited to read. So before I get into any of this, I want to just talk about Forbidden Comics. It's this place in New York City right off of Union Square. Very cool store. If you're in New York City ever looking for a comic book store, it is an incredible shop. They have everything. They have collectibles. They have comic books. Every time I'm in New York City for work, which is very frequently, I try to stop there usually maybe once or twice a month just to check in what they have, to pick up some stuff. Just a really cool comic book shop. If you ever are visiting the city or you're in striking distance of Manhattan, be sure to check it out. It's worthwhile, worth your time. So without further ado, let's jump into my haul from today's stop at Forbidden Planet Comics. Okay, so I typically do these videos about books, but in this video I wanted to talk more about comics because comics are sort of an easier entry point for some people. I do enjoy a graphic novel here and there. Historically, they're some of my favorite graphic novels of all time, or I put up there with some of my favorite books of all time. And usually that doesn't involve a lot of the superhero stuff. But the reason that I went to Forbidden Planet actually was because of this comic book, Absolute Superman. I had heard nothing but great things about it. The entire Absolute universe I've been hearing great things about. So just to fill you in on this, very frequently these superhero comics are rebooted, like a soft reboot with a new retelling of the entire lore of a character. Now DC recently rebooted its entire universe with some sort of alternate backgrounds for Batman, the Flash, Superman, all of these characters, and people love it. They love these new retellings of the stories. So Absolute Superman retells that story. It's apparently an entirely new background. I don't know sort of the new telling of this. I'll probably do a video to update you on what I think of the series, but I picked up the first 2 volumes of this series. I'm banking on the fact that I've liked the Absolute Batman series. It's been a thrill, it's been a joy, and I'm looking forward to sort of what Jason Aaron, the writer of this series, has in store for Superman. It's historically, Superman, not a big character for me. I think he's kind of a boring, lame character, but Jason Aaron, the author, the writer of these books, is somebody who's done a lot of really great work in the past with stuff like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and particularly his Thor series that he did, reimagining the Thor lore, if you will. He really crushed that series, and I really enjoyed reading it as much as I've enjoyed reading anything of the past several years in terms of superhero storytelling. So looking forward to these 2 books. These are just sort of the mainline obvious picks because everyone who is somewhat into comics probably has this on their radar. If you're not into comics, if you are somebody who's like maybe 50-50 on Superman, maybe you want to dive in after the recent movie, definitely check out this book series because you could jump in kind of at the ground floor. The first 2 volumes are out. I'm sure they're going to have a lot more of these. So hop in now. You can pick up them weekly. You can wait for the volumes to drop. Whatever your choice may be, definitely hop in on Absolute Superman, read along together. I'm going to do an update video on what I think of this series at some point later. Next one for me is News from the Fallout. No idea what this book was. Went in blind, completely did not know anything about this book. I actually picked it up at the register. It was sort of listed or ranked or placed amongst some of the best-selling books. So I figured it probably was pretty good. And the story behind this really sold me on it. So it's all about a nuclear test that leaves much of the population in these sort of dark spectral figures. It's all black and white. The style here is really cool to me in particular. If you can see sort of this black and white coloring, it seems that there's these like spectral monsters, and it follows a military officer who is spared from this spectral existence as he's going through the world. Looks really creepy, looks really cool. The style reminds me of sort of a Twilight Zone episode. I love this idea of black and white sci-fi horror. I love sci-fi horror. Again, something that really appeals to me because I typically I'm not drawn to the superhero storytelling in comic books. There are many superhero stories that I love, like stuff like Watchmen. I love a lot of the Ultimate Spider-Man runs. But really what appeals to me about the medium of comic books is these non-traditional stories, like stuff like Saga, a lot of the Brian K. Vaughan stuff, a guy who is going to come up later in this video. But stuff like Saga, stuff like Why the Last Man, stuff like Lock and Key, all those kind of stories that are not your traditional superhero stories, but really, really crush the comic book medium, take it to a whole new level, tell stories that are unique, interesting, and incorporate the visuals in a way that feel like a movie at times. So definitely check out News from the Fallout. I'm really looking forward to checking this one out. It's by Chris Condon and Jeffrey Allen Love. It really sticks out to you. Oh, it's an Image comic too. I didn't even realize that. Image always makes some of the very best stuff. Big Image supporter always. So looking forward to checking this out. I'll probably do a follow-up on this one too if I do like it. Okay, the final haul video from this trip to Forbidden Comics is Brian K. Vaughan's Private Eye. So Brian K. Vaughan authored this one with Marcos Martin and Munsa Vincente. I've heard nothing but good things about this one. I am a Brian K. Vaughan diehard. Look at this cover. I almost wish that I had held out and got the hardcover to see whether I sort of checked it out. The hardcover was $50 though, so having never read the book, it was kind of difficult to stomach the idea of springing on a hardcover for something I had not read yet. I love Brian K. Vaughan's books, love all of them. Why the Last Man is probably my favorite comic book of all time. Just an incredible story. I love Saga also. I've fallen behind on that one, but many people who are into comic books view that as a sort of interstellar story. It's kind of like Star Wars adjacent, but R-rated with a lot of sex and violence and twists and turns. An incredible story for those who aren't familiar with Saga. Why the Last Man is a story about a world in which all the men on Earth die except for one guy, so everyone with the Y chromosome. So all the mammals, creatures with the Y chromosome also die. And it's all about the last man, Yorick Brown, and his tale to sort of bring men back to the world and bring balance back to the Earth, and the forces that are trying to kill him, the various geopolitical implications of a world without men. Very interesting story, and Brian K. Vaughan crushes it and does it really well. He has another comic book that I also love. It is Ex Machina. It's about a superhero who saves New York City during 9/11 and subsequently becomes mayor of New York City, and having to deal with the political implications of being mayor of New York City while simultaneously being a former superhero, and having those factors of his world play into his current run as mayor. The guy is a genius. So the premise of this one is that it's a world in which everyone has a secret identity. There's some sort of hack that reveals everyone's secrets to the world. So it's all about an unlicensed private investigator is thrust into the most important case of his life. It's a sci-fi mystery story that seems to check a lot of boxes for me. I love mysteries, even, I guess, sci-fi mysteries. I'm not a huge sci-fi guy. Anyone who's watched these videos will know that a lot of sci-fi books just don't click for me. But to my mind, Brian K. Vaughan does sci-fi storytelling as well as anybody, a lot better than a lot of people as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing his sort of spy, detective fiction sensibilities apply to future sci-fi storytelling. So check out Private Eye. I'd love to follow up this one. If you guys like these comic book videos, be sure to let me know in the comments. I'm going to try to do more of these hauls as I do pick up more comics over the course of time. Until later, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye now.